Okay, hi guys, welcome back to Tego Codes. My name is Osego, and today I want to introduce you to the new VS Code extension, Learn Cloud, and another addition on Azure resources named App Spaces. Now, Learn Cloud is built to make it easier for you, whether you are a beginner or you are experienced in cloud and deployment. It makes it easy for you to deploy any web app to the cloud. So, Learn Cloud has a roadmap. So we have a roadmap for you which is in 5 steps from introduction to deployment. And then, apart from the roadmap, each roadmap based a step by step instruction on how to execute the tasks and guiding you on how to deploy to cloud. And then, Learn Cloud also leverages on what we call App Spaces. So, App Spaces is a new addition to the array of Azure resources that are already present. So, App Spaces helps you in that it saves you the hassle or the stress of having to determine which resources you need for your web application. So, how does it work? How it works is that when you create a new app space, you have to connect it to your GitHub account where you have your code hosted. So, once you connect it to your GitHub account, App Spaces will scan your GitHub code and then determine which resources are most suitable for your web app. For example, if you are deploying an API, from what I've seen, it will deploy an app container. If you are deploying a static web app, it will provision for you a static web app on Azure. So once it scans your code and realizes the types of resources needed for your application, it goes ahead to deploy them. And then once they're deployed, it goes back to your GitHub and creates an auto deployment file, which means your application is now set up for CI/CD. Each time you push a change to your GitHub account, it reflects on your live website. Push a change, it automatically reflects. So this is what I want to show you. And as a bonus, and as a bonus, in an app space, you can have your front end and back end in the same app space. Then to connect them, you simply drag and drop and create a connection. But there's a catch. When you create that connection, you will be charged a minimum of $9 per month for the application. Without wasting much time, let's dig into the code. Let me show you how it's done. Okay, now to do this, you will need sample projects, which I have here. So I'll simply launch my VS Code. I can show you a demo of what we have. So I have a simple front-end application built on Vue and a simple backend application built on Express. So basically, just allows you to perform a simple CRUD application, CRUD actions. So I'll show you that. So this is my front end. So I'll just run it. Let me zoom in so that you can be able to see clearly. Never. Yeah, so we have it running. You can open it, and then we can also have our server up and running. So let me just open up the server, can clear npm run dev. So our backend server is starting. Let's go back to our front end and see what we have. So let me also start our front end, npm run dev. So you can see our backend application is up and listening on port 8080. So we'll test that, and then we also have our front end is already up, listening on port 5173. So when we go to our browser, we can refresh here. So coming back, I can refresh here. Currently we have no post, so we can create a new post. So let's come to blog title here, and then let's say our title is something like uh, Learn Cloud extension. Then just something text here. This is a quick tutorial to deploy to cloud.
Then just click on submit. Done. So if you come to posts, we have one of our posts here, Learn Cloud. This is a quick tutorial, and then it's just some dummy text for me here. So you can see you have something that is working. So after ensuring you have sample code like mine, the next thing you want to ensure is that you want to ensure that your code is on the cloud, or not the cloud, but GitHub. So to do this, first things first, you see here I'm listening on the front end, I'm listening on port, I'm listening on this URL here, http localhost 8080. Now before you push it to the cloud, you want to ensure that you only have the path, not the host. So how do you do that? Just delete everything up to the port that way, so that you only have just API plus version 1 plus posts. And then go back to your postcard. No, create post form here, because here is where we are sending to our new post. Do the same, remove everything there and have only the part left, the part at the result. So this API version 1 plus posts. Once that is done, just stop everything here. It's running. For example, our backend is running, stop it. Then let's check. I already have this one pushed to the cloud. So what I'll do, git remote version. That is, you see I have it on this repository, YouTube hyphen vid. If I come to my GitHub, so let me just open a new tab here and then go to my GitHub account. Here it is. That is the repository for my API. Now going back, let's confirm for our front end. So I can just stop the server right away from here and then check uh, git remote. You see we already have a repository here named demo Azure. So coming back to my GitHub account, you see I have demo Azure here. But since I've made changes to the demo Azure, which is the front end, I just want to ensure that I commit everything so that we can have the updated code on GitHub. So how do I do that? Git add, sorry, git add, and then git commit, git commit, then just a simple message, let's say update. Then git push. So that is it. So we have both our source codes in GitHub. So let's refresh. That is it for our front end. For our backend, let's also see. Our backend is also ready. So what's next? The next thing you want to do is to have your VS Code. Then if you don't have the Learn Cloud extension already, when you come here in the extensions tab, click on extensions, then just type Learn Cloud. It should be Learn Cloud. Yeah, now the first result that appears, this one here, Learn Cloud. You see, Learn Cloud guiding first-time cloud users to deploy to Azure platform as a service. So below there you have all the functions on how to use it. Then click on install. For example, I just disable or uninstall, then I install again, then install. So once it is installed, you'll be able to see it on the panel here. So here it is, the Learn Cloud. So click on Learn Cloud, then it will fetch some data. Now this is the roadmap that I mentioned here. You see we have like 5 roadmaps, from introduction to setting up an Azure account, to what is an Azure PaaS, which is platform as a service, then how to deploy to Azure. Then, so introduction, then down below here you have the instructions. So just read everything, go to next. Then if you don't have an Azure account, in the second step, it shows you how to set up an Azure account. So in our case, we already have an Azure account, click on yes. Step, it shows you what Azure is, what it does, then simple terms like Azure subscription, resource group, location and region. Let's click on next. Then what is Azure Platform as a Service? Read through this, understand what is a PaaS. Read everything here. You'll also get the difference between a static web app and dynamic web app. Everything there, read everything. Then once you're done, go to next. Then here is where now you start the practical bit where you're now deploying your code to cloud. So now let's get started with the deploying to Azure. So would you like to start from one of our samples web apps or deploy your own locally running code? So in my case, I want us to deploy our own code. So simply click on our my code. So you read this, then to tell you that your code should be hosted on GitHub. The next step is that once your code is hosted on GitHub, please press the following button. So what you'll do, click on my code is on GitHub. Then it will reload and give you some new more notes. Then you can see the next step that I was talking about is that the Learn extension leverages on the app spaces, which is a new addition to the Azure services. So app spaces basically determines for you which resources will be deployed. So click on app spaces. That will take you to Azure. So if you have your account, you need to sign in. Great. So once you click on this link here that says app spaces and you sign in, you will be in this page where we have create a new app space. Then deploy code from your GitHub repository. So click on GitHub repository. Now first I want us to deploy our backend, which is the Express API. How do you do that? So it will give you this form here where you need to select GitHub account. If you haven't signed in before, you have to sign in first. But if you have signed in before, you'll have this form here. Select your organization, which is your personal account, Osego Tech. Then the repository that has your code. In this case, we want to check with the repo that has my API, which is YouTube vid. Just type it there, then you click on the results that you want. Then which branch has your code? The main branch. The app location. So my app location is in the root. Click on that. Then the listening port. Here, you want to click the port in which your API is listening on. In my case, it is 8080. But this won't work, but because it is needed, you can see it is marked as needed. Just leave it there. So I'll tell you how to actually pass in the port correctly later. That is 8080. So advanced configurations, not a must, just leave it as it is. Then now, configure your app details. So a CI/CD workflow file will be added to your repository, then your code will be automatically deployed later. So what is your app space name? In this case, I want to give it, let's call this Land Cloud. Is the name of our app space, Land Cloud or Land Cloud. Then subscription, I'm using a Visual Studio Enterprise subscription, and then the region is West US 2. Then what's next is to deploy. So once you click deploy, you will see the deployment status here, also here. So we have 13 resources that needs to be deployed for our API. So you will see the progress here, like 0, 1, 2, 3 until 13. Also, we'll have some free sub-processes here that will show you the status. So we'll have to wait for that to complete. Then we'll be back to see the next steps. So let's wait. Okay, so if it takes some time, you can always refresh to see the status. And then once we're on app spaces, we'll be able to see what has been deployed. Yeah, so we have our LAN cloud app space. Remember, you created the name to LAN cloud. So click on that, collapse this, and then let's see what we have in our app space. Yes, so we have our API right here. So you see our API is right here, but it's a problem. It's crashing. So what you want to do, click on it. Remember your API has some environmental variables like the port number and the maybe your database URI, for example, Mongo URI. So you see it created an auto deploy file. So if you switch back to our repository here, you'll be able to see that we have a auto deploy file here, which was just created 5 minutes ago. So the function of this is to ensure that if you update your code in the main branch, it will be automatically deployed to your Azure instance. So coming back to our Azure portal here, so you see we have it there. Then now I want us to add now the port number. Remember I told you the port number that we added before will make our app to crash, which you can see here. It's crashing. You see it crashed. If you try opening this link on your browser, it won't work and it will take some time. So let me show you. Open that, click. You see it's taking a lot of time to load. So what we'll do, click on this card here or this component of this, then navigate to settings here. So after coming to settings here, let's leave everything as it is, but click on environmental variables. And then for our app, we have the port number. So let me show you what we have here. For our API, which is the YouTube vid, in our env, we have two variables, the port number and the Mongo URI. So we'll go back to our Azure portal and do that. So one is the port, the source manual entry, then just do 8080. Second is the Mongo URI, Mongo underscore URI, then the source is manual entry. Then go back to our VS Code and let's copy our Mongo URI and then paste it back to our portal here. Once you've done that, just save them. So it's updating our environmental variables, then it will tell us if it's okay. So let's see. Amazing, you can see it's updating here. It's updating. Successfully updated environmental variables. So waiting on the app to be ready. So because we made some changes, it has to refresh or restart. So it will take a few seconds. Once that is done, we'll be able to then open our URL. Now you see the error is gone. The app is ready. The error was there because the port number that we provided earlier before doesn't actually do what it's supposed to do. That is why now we have to go ahead or a step ahead to include our environmental variables like the port number and the Mongo URI or any environmental variable that your application has. So if I click on open app in browser, yes, this is what we expect. Hello from the server end. So if you want to confirm this working, I have an endpoint for posts. Show for posts. So I can do slash API slash version1 slash posts. Now this is API, not AP1, API. Amazing. You see, we have one post that created. Learn cloud extension. This is a tutorial to deploy to cloud. Our API is ready. Next is to now deploy our front end. So how do you do that? On the same app space, Learn Cloud, click on Add Component. Then, where's our component? Our component is in the GitHub repository. Click on that. Then, click on Next. Then here you select the repository. So organization is Osego Tech as usual. Then the repository, remember it's demo Azure. So click on that, then search demo Azure. Click on that. Then the branch is the main branch. The app location is on the root. Then we have advanced configurations. So here, for example, in a view application, the build file is stored on the dist. directory. So which is like the output location, which is the dist. Just type dist there. Dist. Amazing. So once that is there, then app type, you see app spaces will scan your code and know which type of component you need. Because it's a front-end application built on Vue, it's a static app component. Then give it a name. So I'll give it a name like this is my client or the front end. Let me just do the front end to make it easier for you to understand front end. Then add it. So here it's deploying. And then also for this front end component, it will also create an auto deploy file. So let's go back and then to that repository where we have our front end repositories here. Then let's check on the demo Azure. So you'll see that we will be having uh, a workflow created here. So you see it's already been created here. Uh, Azure static web app workflow file. So this helps us that each time we make a change to our code, it will be pushed to our live version or to our Azure version. So every change you make, it takes seconds to appear on your application. So let's see what we have. It will be building, and then you see that's seated. We wait for this to build, then we'll have our components here. So let's open and see the progress. Yeah, almost. Yeah, so the workflow of file creation is done. Let's go back to Azure portal and just collapse on this and collapse on this here. So let's see up here what do we have. Deployment status still running. So let's see. Let's give it more time to finish up. So if it doesn't reflect here, you can always refresh like we did last time. Just come here and just refresh. Amazing. Now you can see we have two components in our app space. We have the front end, which is a static app component. Then we have the LAN cloud component, which is our app component, which is the API. And both are ready. So this is the front end. Now you can see we have some animation here trying to tell us that we can connect the two applications. So if I connect, I want to show you what my front end looks like. So click on open that in the browser. You see, this is our home page. If I go to create posts and post, there's nothing. It means at the moment I'm not connected to my API. Because what do you expect? You expect to have this single post that you created earlier before. This single post should be able to appear here. So to fix that, what we need to do is to connect our front end to the back end. So how do I do that? How you do that, just click on this link here. You see it's like you can link them. This is the link, this addition icon. Click on link. And then, like I mentioned to you, remember I mentioned that the moment you click on this, you will now incur a charge of a minimum of $9 per month to enable the API connection. Then you get a secured access, bigger size front end, and you can have more domains for the back end. So just click on upgrade to connect. So it's linking. So let's give it time to link. Great. Now, what do we have? Connection details are here. How to use this connection. And remember this connection successfully created. So how do we do that? To call your secured API, make a request to slash API, then your endpoints. Everything after the API segment will get proxied to your backend. Remember I told you it creates something like a proxy. Then set up routes and roles. That's not even important. Then invite users. So remember when I was deploying my app to cloud, now to GitHub, my front end, I told you we need to change our endpoint. For example, it was in the create post. Let's go to the views. I said we remove the domain and just have the resource. Same happened to the post list view. You remove everything that comes before. Yeah, so for example, I left this one here to show you what was removed. We removed this one here to have only slash API slash version 1 slash post. Our connection on Azure creates something like a proxy. So we only need the API slash API segment and then followed with your endpoint. So let's close this and let me just drag them here, drag it here. Now, now you can see we have two components. We have the cloud and then we have the API component and we have the front-end component. So if I click on the front-end now on the link, click on that link, we have the home page. And if I now go to posts, we should be able to see our single post that we created. To confirm that everything is working, I'll go to create post. And in this case, now we want to create a new post. Demo by Omolo. Then the body, let's say something like this is a demo of LAN Cloud and Azure App Spaces. App Spaces, sorry, it's in the morning. My fingers are quite slow. App Spaces service by Osego Quotes. Then if I create this, done, going back to posts, we have our post here, demo by Omolo, and the body there. I can do another one. Let's say experts live, expert led sessions live at USIU. Submit. Going back to our posts, we have three posts here: Run Cloud Extension, demo by Omolo, experts live, and that's how simple it is. So that's how you deploy your cloud. That's how you deploy your web application to the cloud. That is simple. So assuming you had something like your storage bucket, just click on add component, have it here. You have something like let's say Cosmos DB, add component, have it here. So guys, that's how simple it is. If you have any questions, maybe you can ask in the comments. If you're having problems deploying application, you can contact me so that I can help you through. Otherwise, thank you for watching till the end. Bye.